State of the World Priority Update, 14 November 2025. We have 5 major stories to cover here tonight. If you want to support the channel and the State of the World updates, all that I ask that you do is hit the like button and share the videos with a buddy and leave a combat llama emoji down below. Story number 1. More than 20,000 pages of newly released emails and texts from Epstein's estate were published by the United States House Committee on Oversight and Accountability. In one January 2019 email, Epstein states of Donald Trump, now President Donald Trump, of course he knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop. Now, keep in mind, President Trump has in the past said, and I quote, "We're still talking about Jeffrey Epstein." So, as President Trump did run as a portion of his campaign on unleashing the truth to the American public, this has been extremely disheartening for the MAGA movement, and many view it as the turning point for the Republican Party and view it as a key portion of betrayal. Now, keep in mind, this channel does not represent the United States Army or the War Department in any way. The House is pushing legislation to force the United States Department of Justice to release all files. The DOJ previously indicated many records related to Epstein's investigations remain withheld, including grand jury material, seized hard drives, and full financial and flight data. Story number 2. Thomas Crooks and the Tucker Carlson report. Tucker Carlson, regardless of your thoughts on him as an individual and a journalist, released a documentary yesterday alleging that the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, misled the general public and the United States civilian about Crooks' digital history, claiming Crooks had violent online posts, threats, and connection to political violence. The FBI has recently responded on its X account saying the FBI has never said Thomas Crooks had no online footprint ever. Kash Patel has also stated a very interesting tweet or X post, if you want to go check it out, stating all of the different resources and investigation efforts that were put into this. Needless to say, Tucker Carlson has unveiled a lot of YouTube comment history and online interaction of this individual essentially planning, plotting, and openly discussing and training for this act. Regardless of how you feel, whether you're on the right or the left, Thomas Crooks was planning this for a long time, and it looks like he's been planning this event or was planning this event since about 2019 to 2020 based on his Discord and YouTube comment section and search history alone. So if you have not seen Tucker Carlson's coverage in what I'm going to call a documentary on the Thomas Crooks assassination attempt of then former President Trump and now current sitting President Trump, then definitely go check that out. But the response from the FBI and the FBI Director Kash Patel to the Tucker Carlson release has been very showing and telling, in my personal opinion. More to follow on that, but definitely go check that out. There's key incidents that Tucker points out where he may or may not have come in contact with other individuals that may or may not have we'll just say, inspired or influenced him to continue with carrying on the act. So, definitely check out that story. Reminder, if you guys like these updates, hit the like button and share it with a buddy. Let's move on to the third story of the night: digital ID and payment integration. Big Brother is watching. On November 12th, 2025, Apple introduced Digital ID, allowing users to add their United States passport information into the Apple Wallet. This will connect your driver's license, passport, and your physical banking and online banking account. So, for example, let's say Joe was doing something that an organization or entity did not like. They could simply turn off Joe's ability to fly, drive a vehicle, or purchase anything. This would also collect metadata in forms of travel, banking, and anywhere that that individual Joe would pop up. At launch, usage is approved for TSA checkpoints at more than 250 United States airports. Future use cases are indicated. The process: scan physical passport photo page, read the embedded chip on the passport via iPhone, take a selfie, and have some verification movements, and all of a sudden, guess what? Your phone is now everything. Now, why is this such a big deal? Well, I already kind of alluded to it. The overall normalization of you being tracked with metadata has already been established ever since 2020, 2021 with the quote unquote great pandemic. But this is a step in the wrong direction. This is very similar to what is happening now in the United Kingdom, where they have a full fledged we'll just call it Big Brother state, a surveillance state. The United Kingdom is in bad shape. And if you don't know that, you have no freedom of speech or freedom of movement to do anything. And there are thousands of people that are in prison in the United Kingdom without due process because they posted a mean tweet online or a mean post. So this is something that you should definitely be making people aware of. If people, loved ones, friends are not made aware of this, you need to. And a lot of people are going to fall victim to this by simply just saying, well, it's easy and convenient. I have everything on my phone. Now I don't even need my keys or anything. I can just use my phone to drive the Bronco around and I can do everything with my phone. I can pay with it. Well, guess what? If Big Brother is watching everything you're doing from your phone, even if you're not doing anything wrong, the old saying that I always bring up, and I'll bring it up here again, you show me the man and I'll show you the crime. Moving on to the fourth story of the night. Operation Southern Spear. This is unclassified information that has literally been released by the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. On November 14th, 2025, United States Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, they need to get a streamlined title for this, announced, I think it's technically Secretary of War now, announced Operation Southern Spear, led by the United States Southern Command and a newly formed Joint Task Force, Southern Spear. The mission statement: defend our homeland, remove narco terrorists from our hemisphere, and secure our homeland from the drugs that are killing our people. Okay? Definitely, I can definitely get on board with the removing drugs from and fentanyl from killing everyday American civilians. The buildup includes naval forces off the coast of Venezuela and increased military presence in the Caribbean region. Okay, so keep in mind, this is all unclassified public information. President Trump, during his time in office, has never bluffed once. You look at the Venezuelan boats that have been evaporated from and removed from existence. You look at the strikes in Iran. You look at everything that has occurred since President Trump has taken office. I do not think that this would be a bluff now, especially when we have it titled Operation Southern Spear. And we know the carrier strike group, I believe the Gerald Ford has moved into the region with other unclassified assets that are being publicly monitored that you can go look up yourself. But what I would say, if you're going to move carrier strike groups, United States Marines that are built and bred for one thing, infantrymen are only here for one thing, and not speaking, again, for the War Department, the United States Army in any way. If you put them in a place to do a job, they will accomplish the job. That's what they're there to do, and, that's what we should support them to do. So just keep an eye on that situation as it develops in the Caribbean. Moving on, story number 5. Near-miss solar waves and grid risk. A forecasted geomagnetic storm of severity level G4 almost took out the entire power grid here in the United States, and pretty much nobody was made aware of it other than maybe a short news headline that you may have breezed over. But this warning was issued across 11 United States or U.S. states due to a solar activity with potential severe impacts. The event included multiple coronal mass ejections, CMEs, from the sun heading toward Earth, triggering auroras visible as far south as Texas and Florida. The alerts note the risk of voltage control problems, blah, blah, blah. The point I want to make of this: a near miss at a massive scale, risking destroying the entire power grid here in the United States, should be a wake-up call to you and your family. Right now, do you have 10,000 rounds, whether it be of 9mm, 5.56, whatever your go-to cartridge is? Do you have 3 months worth of food, 3 months worth of water? If the grid went down right now and people went without food, let's say for a week or 2 weeks, are you and your family ready to weather the storm, stay safe, protect your community, be a good person, and be prepared? Are you ready? use this as a wake-up call, if you're not, for this very serious near miss that I was only made aware of myself, I think 6 hours before this thing actually kicked off, right? So don't be trusting NASA or trusting the news to let you know that, hey, you're about to lose power potentially for years. Because if this would have basically escalated to the point that it could have in the most severe case, we would have literally lost power for years, if not a decade. Okay, so go look into this story, but a severity level of G4 for a geomagnetic storm is a pretty big deal. Anyway, guys, there's a lot of stuff we went over, everything from the Epstein files to Operation Southern Spear to this assassination attempt that Tucker Carlson has done an excellent job documenting and bringing to light. So go check it out if you haven't. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Let me know in the comments if you like these State of the World updates. This probably should be a urgent, but we're going to keep it at priority. Because whenever something truly emergent or urgent comes, I don't want, even though this stuff really is, I feel like a frog, a boiling frog in a pot of boiling water, you know what I mean? A lot of these things we're talking about here tonight are huge, right? We have the government that just got brought back to life. And many speculate that the release of these Epstein files, when they were released, is to cover up the quote unquote Democratic Party losing, So I'll just leave it here. I don't want to rant at you guys too long, but there's a lot going on. And the point of these State of the World updates is that you guys are made aware of the most relevant surface level stuff. Make sure you're getting into it, doing your own research. And if you see something before I do, send it to me on Instagram or DM me in the comments if I don't see it, And the best way to really contact me is to be a member of the Patreon, right? Shameless plug, and to be a member of the Discord server through the Patreon. Okay. But I'll stop ranting at you guys and get you out of here. Thank you for being a part of this program, being a part of this channel. And until next time, this is going to be Trench Grenade, another very serious priority update video enjoyer that your mom says that we have at home, signing out. Cheers.